This is an invitation for you to experience a somatic yoga therapy session. What I'd like to start with is just providing you with an understanding of what we're about to embark on and why. So before we begin, the very, very, very first thing that we do is pay attention. Pay attention to where you are in this present moment. And do this by connecting with all of your senses. Use your eyes. Take time to notice the individual objects in your space. Name them in your mind. Use your ears to hear the different sounds. The sound of my voice. The sound of whatever's happening in the space that surrounds you. And give yourself permission to allow any unpleasant noises or surprising noises to be part of the experience. Embrace the sound of traffic going by or a barking dog, interruptions from family, friends. Give yourself permission to embrace this moment with whatever it entails. Just allow it to be without an agenda. So seeing your space, noticing the details, naming what you see, and hearing. Allow your ears to stretch as far as they can, reaching to hear sounds that are farther away. And then draw your ears back, dive in just for a moment. Notice the sounds within your body. What do you hear? Perhaps as you hear the sound of your heartbeat, you will feel this pull or draw, just to begin to notice the sensation of your heart gently beating. Give yourself permission to feel that. And just like taking a peek into the body, give yourself a brief moment to feel any other sensations. And then just notice, give them a gentle name. And then we're going to step outside of the body, knowing that we can come back to that later, but gently put that down. Let your awareness shift back to the external space. Notice what you see, notice what you hear. And then we're going to connect with the sense of smell. Breathe in. Notice the smells in the space. If it's available to you, you can use an essential oil, fresh fruit, tea, coffee. Try and choose something that evokes a positive memory, feeling, thought. And then we're going to use that gentle positivity to lead ourselves in a in a certain direction. Take a moment and think of something small that awakes a glimmer of positivity. It could be the feeling of a warm cup of tea or coffee sitting in your hand, the feeling of anticipation as you breathe in the aroma, the satisfaction of that first sip. It could be something simple, like remembering a time when you finished washing the dishes and your kitchen looked peaceful for a brief moment. Something small, could be something external to you entirely, like the memory of sunshine on your face, wind in your hair, the sound of water, the movement of leaves, the smell of flowers or fresh cut grass. And as I say these things with the most gentle, kind, compassionate voice, give yourself permission and understanding that as we start to walk through these glimmers that might awake something beautiful, that sometimes with it we'll feel other feelings as well. And just like we did with the peeking in the body, you can take a gentle peek at whatever emotion arises, knowing that you have permission to say, not right now, just a little bit, come back to this later, or maybe I need to gently close that door for now. Maybe I talk about this with someone else down the road. Also knowing that you have full permission to drop into any sensation, feeling that arises. But for now, we're just giving a gentle notice, a gentle nod, maybe labeling it if you can, and then coming back to the space. Notice where you are now, in this present moment. Again, paying attention to what you see, what you hear, and what you smell. This is the embodiment of the earth element. Notice how connecting with the senses draws you into the present moment, and how in the present moment there's a feeling of possibility. The possibility that we can gently set down those worries about things that might happen in the future, and those concerns about things that have already happened in the past. Notice how your senses give you this beautiful window into stepping away from the future and the past. Just being here. If it's helpful for you, you might use the words, be here, or I am here. And if it's not helpful, just come back to what you see, what you hear, and what you smell. Let the tension that's in your body gently out with your exhale breath. You can do that a few times. And then bring your awareness to the sides of your ribs. You might place your hands on your ribs to help. Or maybe if you're lying down, you might want to roll onto your side. You can place a heavy blanket, a sandbag, stuffed animal, a bag of rice. Just consider placing your hands or some object that's supportive onto the side of your ribs. And I'd like you to take a moment and consider that your breath is a tool that we can use to stretch the tissue of the body. And as you breathe in, use your inhale breath. Go to your maximum, whatever that is. And at the top of your inhale breath, I want you to push into the ribs. Push outward. And if it's comfortable, stay there for just a moment or two, pushing out at the top of the inhale breath, creating space for your lungs, your inner organs. And your exhale breath just continues to be a way for you to release and let go of any tension that you're holding. So inhaling, push into the rib cage at the top of the breath. Maybe hold it a moment or two. And exhaling, letting go. Doing this at your own rhythm. This is our present moment breath. This helps us to settle into the earth expression a little more deeply. And just to remember as we do this exploration that there is truly no bad reaction. We're so conditioned for this in our lives, but that's really not the case. There's just simply interesting information that will become apparent. So for some of us, as we settle into the stillness of the earth element, we might begin to feel unsettled, squirmy, resistant, agitated, or wiggly. And other times, we might do the exact same practice. And instead, what we experience is this delightful pull, like the embrace of a warm, cozy bed, the end of a long day. So regardless of how you feel in this moment, just understand this is the communication of your body. There is no wrong. There's only honest, authentic expression. So just let yourself notice what the stillness tells you. Do you feel pulled into the stillness in a positive way, like a warm hug? Or do you feel squirmy and wiggly? Like your body needs to move? Or is there an agitated feeling bubbling up below the surface? And we're going to take a moment here and we're going to respond. So if you're feeling that invitation to drop into stillness, give yourself permission. You can flop down on the floor in any orientation that feels comfortable. If you have bolsters or pillows available, you can gather them and just create a little nest for yourself. Don't worry about a proper posture of any kind. Just Give yourself permission to flop into any orientation that your body is asking for. And if you try something and it doesn't feel good, keep moving until you find that sweet spot where your body goes, oh. So if you're craving that stillness, go ahead, give yourself permission for that. That's your body telling you that it would like to go into the earth element a little more deeply. And my advice to you, if you're feeling that, is you can just pause this recording for a little bit. Choose a song, play it, and let yourself drop in. And then when the song's complete, go ahead and turn the recording back on. And what I'm going to facilitate right now is an invitation to explore the water and fire elements for those of you that are needing movement or sensation. So when we feel that wiggly feeling, that's our body asking for movement, for expression. The body has something that it needs to say or release or communicate. The body wants to emote and feel. When we feel that agitated feeling, that's the body asking for sensation. There's something pent up that the body needs to express. And if we were to look at this from a nervous system perspective, what you might interpret this as, and I'm going to go ahead and describe this from the perspective of animals, or more using the metaphor of an animal. When we feel that agitated feeling, it's like we're a tiger, but we're pent up, we're trapped. There's been something inside of us that hasn't expressed, that we've been suppressing. And it could be stress or any number of things. But when we go into stillness and that's what we feel, the body is asking for us for support to help the body let something go, let it out. It's like a tea kettle on the stove that's boiling over and screaming. We need to let out that pent up feeling. When we feel that wiggly feeling, we're also in a more sympathetic or activated state, but maybe a little lower down the ladder. We're not so much a tiger as maybe a rabbit. And we've been sitting still for too long, and there's things that we haven't said and expressed. We feel jittery. So wherever you resonate, give yourself permission. I'm going to lead you through a few explorations, and you can choose the one that resonates with you. So for water element, this is for those of you that are feeling jittery. If you're feeling agitated, you can go ahead and start with that actually and see how it feels. This can be another tool. Does it make you feel more agitated? Does it make you feel less? But if you're really just needing that sensation and going into that water space doesn't feel helpful right now, my suggestion for you is to create resistance through your arms. You can do this by standing, pressing your arms into the wall and pushing as though you could push the wall away. And if you're more comfortable doing that on the floor, you can do that exact same orientation, coming into a plank posture. So knees are on the floor or feet are on the floor, whichever you prefer. Arms are activated and we're pushing into the floor. Either way is fine. So we're going to come into that water element, and I just invite you to find yourself in space wherever you are. Take a few breaths, breathing in, breathing out. just go at your own rhythm. Let your rhythm find you. And after your next exhalation, use your inhale breath to move your arms through 3 inhalations. We inhale 1 with the arms reaching forward. Inhale 2 with the arms wide. And inhale 3 with the arms up and overhead. And just use the exhale breath to float the hands back to the heart space. We're just going to do this again and again, following your breath. If you need more time, you can always pause the recording. But just follow the breath. Inhale forward. Inhale wide. Inhale up. And exhale down. Just go at your own pace. I'm going to let my breath become more audible for you. So if you want to breathe with me, you can. If you find that not helpful, you can always skip over this part. So just finding your breath and let your breath invite your body into movement. Let your breath lead. And just take a moment, pausing in stillness, and notice. Sometimes when we shake the water up and we move, it makes us feel unsettled. If that occurs, we can just come right back to the groundedness of the earth element, opening the eyes, noticing the space, naming what you see, connecting with the sense of smell, the sense of hearing. So just be in stillness for a moment and notice. Was the movement helpful? Not helpful? And then give yourself permission to either stay in stillness for a little while if you're starting to feel that draw into the quietude, or come back into movement with another exploration. You can do this seated, you can do this standing. If you're on the floor and it's comfortable for you, I find in a kneeling orientation is really nice for this. You might wish to draw the knees wide. But you can also do this in a chair or standing up. And we're just going to take the arms wide once again, so reaching the arms up, and take a moment feeling into a little bit of sensation just in holding the arms in this space. And then we're going to lean to one side, allow one arm to reach down away from the body. You might connect with the floor or just rest your hand on your leg. And then the other hand is going to reach up towards the sky, feeling a lengthening between the two hands. Just let your breath roll through that space. Inhale, breath. And then with your exhale, just begin to explore. Swoop that upper arm in a wide circle, following your breath, going at your own pace. And just allow sensation through the side of the body, the neck, the shoulder, and the arm, staying with your breath. And then you can swoop to the other side. And again, just going at your pace, your rhythm. The water element is movement that is meditative, or meditation in motion. It pulls us into a centered space as we express and let go. Whatever we've been holding on to, whatever we've been worried about, just let it go as you breathe and as you move. Coming back to the center, you can just start to move the spine back and forth, so arching the spine like an angry cat. Rolling the spine forward, stretching through the chest and the front of the neck. If you're familiar with this movement, this is cat-cow. So just bringing movement to the spine, nice and soft through the face, the neck, the shoulders, connecting with your breath. If there's anything you need to let go of, go ahead and stick your tongue out and exhale. And this is where we can start to bring in the quality of the fire element. The fire element is when we start to heat things up. We bring in some sensation. We can start to release things at the top of your exhale breath. So as you exhale and squeeze everything out at the top of the exhale, really, really squeeze. And feel into your body as you're doing that. Feel how all the muscles start to hug inward as you're pushing out. And then go ahead and inhale and just give your body permission to shake. However you're oriented, standing, sitting, whatever, just give yourself a little time here and you're going to shake. Let the arms go, wiggle, shake the hands, the neck, the shoulders, the back. Whatever, if you want to breathe out, just let go. You can keep doing this as long as you need to. If you're on the floor and kneeling, you might want to come up onto your hands and knees. If you're seated, hands can just rest on the thighs. And again, we're going to come into stillness now. You can place your hands resting on your knees, or from kneeling, hands can be on the floor, or if you're standing, just press your hands against the wall. And I'd like for you to bring space into your armpits. Reach your shoulders as far away from the hands as you can. Hug the muscles through the hands and the arms, and bring sensation into the upper body. If you're on the floor, kneeling, and you need more sensation, go ahead and lift your knees so that you're standing onto the top of the feet. So we're starting to bring in the heat of the fire element, which bubbles all the things to the surface. If it becomes too intense, come back to the present moment, come back to earth. But maybe this is the moment where you just want to lean in. You want something to bubble up. You want to let it out. You want to let go. So lean in. Feel that sensation through the arms. Let it roll into the abdomen, the front of the legs. Hug all the muscles. You might start to feel a little bit of shaking. That's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to shake. When your body hits that point of, I'm done, go ahead and be still. But see if you can hug the muscles through the body so you're still in that active space of sensation. And I want you to, from whatever orientation, seated on the floor, kneeling, seated in a chair, standing with hands on the wall. And we're going to hug all of the muscles. And while the muscles are hugging, you're going to stretch against that hugging and just start to roll your spine away from your shoulders and knees, arching like a cat. And it's like you're letting the body yawn. So you know that feeling when you yawn and you activate the throat muscles as you stretch? That's what we're going to do here. So arch through the back, keep the muscles activated as you stretch in the opposite way. Draw the navel in the opposite direction. Open the front of the chest, the throat. And we're going to do that one more time. Take a moment and let your body shake it out. Shake it out. So we need to move the fire element more into the center of the body now. We can do this a few different ways. If you're seated, you can explore leaning back. This can be done from a chair or the floor. You can explore leaning back and bringing sensation in to the core itself. And just imagine drawing the belly button to the spine. The knees can be bent. If it's helpful, the knees can be straight. This will bring a little more sensation. But we just want to bring that warm, shaky feeling into the center of the body. Just let it bubble and percolate there. If you're in a standing orientation, you can do this by bringing your belly button closer to the wall, rising up onto the toes. So staying with that, letting it bring the warmth to the center of the body. Energetically, this is concentrating at the navel point. And then allow your body to come out of that sensation. If you're on the floor, great. Just place your feet on the mat, knees bent. Let the knees roll in toward each other to find support. If you're standing, you might want to sit down on a chair or the floor. We're going to bring our awareness to the belly button space. This is the center for samana. Is where we can invite digestion and processing. If this feels triggering in any way, instead of focusing at the belly button, you're going to come back to the rib cage. So with our inhale breath, we can push out into the belly button, focusing our energy there and our awareness. Again, ribs can be used as an alternative. And then soften with the exhale. Let your mind set an intention to digest and process those things that haven't been tended to. Using this opportunity to notice, does the stillness feel inviting? Or is there a craving for movement or sensation still? If you've been using the wall, you can come back, placing the hands on the wall, and you're going to go ahead, drawing the navel once again toward the wall and really stretching into the front body. If you're on the floor, you're going to lift your hips up off the mat so that feet are planted on the floor, shoulders are planted on the floor. You can also bring this sensation from seated on the chair just by arching the spine, drawing the navel toward the knees, rolling the shoulders back. And we want to breathe more intensely now. If this breath is taking you too deep into activation, you might want to just come back to a nice, steady, rhythmic breathing. But if you're wanting to go in to this space, we're going to concentrate our awareness on the navel point, and we're going to use our breath, 2 inhales through the nose, 1 exhale through the mouth. Stay longer if you wish, or you can draw the hips back down. I'm going to take a moment just letting the knees rock from side to side. Just move the body like you're moving it from point A to point B. Really pay attention, slow it down. The movement between each expression is just as important as the expression itself. Give yourself permission to notice the sensations in your legs. If it feels like there's some interesting stories being held in there, you can hug the muscles as you move and just think of that cat that stretches, like making the body yawn. So activate the muscles and stretch into that. As you move in this way, you might start to feel some shaking. Just stay with it. Give your body permission to express. And if you'd like to lean into that shaking more, you can bring your feet together. Knees together, still bent. And we're going to slowly start to lower the knees toward the floor, counting backward from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can do this seated in the chair as well. And then go ahead and move in the opposite direction, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And just continue counting on your own. 10 to 1 as you lower the legs down, away from one another. 1 to 10 as you draw them back together. And as you're doing this, pay attention for areas where the body has been holding tension. And just pause in those spaces, allow the legs to shake. And really lean into the shaking. Let the body vibrate. Let it move through the legs up into the navel point. Just letting go of all the things you've been holding on to. Staying with a nice soft breath. And just continue to explore space with the legs, looking for any places where there's some little shaking or tremors, and then just lean into those spots. Let the legs stay and just let it unravel. If you need more time, you can pause the recording and just continue as long as you need to. Just let the body shake it out. As you're doing this, if you notice some tension in the abdomen area, you can lift the hips as well and just stay in this orientation of bound angle pose with the hips lifted. And just imagine allowing that shaking to move from the legs up into the abdomen. Help it to release and let go. This is your opportunity to let go of anything that doesn't serve you, anything that you've been holding on to. And just let it shake out. Staying with this for just a little bit longer. And then when you're ready to stop, or if at any time it's feeling too intense, just go ahead and straighten your legs. Flex out through the feet. Draw your arms wide and push out through the hands. And you're just going to come back to that cat feeling. So hugging all the muscles in the body. And this time we're hugging the energy inward. Sealing the energy off in the body. You can imagine creating a nice wall of energy around yourself, and just imagine taking your hands above the head and tracing that energy down the back of the body, all the way down the legs, under the feet, and then up along the front of the body, coming back to the top of the head. We're going to do that 2 more times. Tracing all the way down, around the feet, all the way up, and back to the head. One more time, down and around, sealing the energy in. then soften the body and take a moment allowing yourself to experience stillness. Can you invite softness into your body? If there's anywhere in your body that's feeling tense, imagine going there with your breath. Imagine breathing into that space, and at the top of your inhale breath, push into that tension. Just stay there for a bit if you can. And then with your exhale breath, shake it out, let it go. Come back to stillness. And just keep repeating that process, going through your body, looking for areas where you might feel tension. And imagine breathing into the space, pushing out at the top of your inhale. And then with your exhale breath, shake it out, let it go. Come back to stillness. Everyone is at their own journey. And at different days, different times, our journey will be different. So on this particular day, it might be available to you to drop into a nice quiet Shavasana for 10 or 15 minutes or 30 minutes. If that's the case, give yourself permission to pause the recording, maybe set a timer on your phone so that you're not late for things and you can really relax. And then you can come back to the recording in a little bit when you're ready for some breath work and meditation to complete the practice. You can also break the practice up and do this other part before you go to bed in the evening. If you're in that place where maybe that's not available to you, explore giving yourself 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. So I'll just give you time to pause the recording and make sure to come back for the rest of the practice when you're ready and it's the right time for you. So after the fire element, after we've leaned into discomfort and we've brought heat to the body and we've bubbled things to the surface, we've started to give ourselves permission to digest and allow. Then we come in to the air element. The air element is where we connect to the wisdom of the heart through our breath. The air element is where we begin to work with the energy body where we learn how to shift and to move energy that's feeling stuck. We learn how to increase vitality through the breath. And where we practice strategies for regulating the nervous system. when you're ready, I'll invite you to find a seated orientation. And it's possible that in this moment, that being seated isn't comfortable for you. Or maybe at this stage of the game, breathwork isn't feeling like the right choice. If that's the case, my suggestion is to come back to that meditation that we did at the beginning of this practice. Connect with your senses and the space that surrounds you. Use your eyes to take in and notice. Use your ears to hear. And then let that hearing invite you to come back into the body. Start by hearing perhaps the sound of your heartbeat. And then just peek and see if it's available to you to feel the sensation of the heartbeat and go from there. If it doesn't feel right, you just open the eyes again and come back to the space. Just keep coming into that present moment. If breathwork is feeling available to you, begin with softness. Begin with softness. Invite spaciousness into the body by lengthening your spine. And we're going to focus on the exhale breath. This breathing brings the nervous system back into a place of parasympathetic regulation. So it calms us down. It slows us down and makes us steady. So just gently breathing in. And then give your full attention to your exhale breath, slowly rolling the breath out of your body. You might notice the pace of your inhale breath. If counting is comfortable for you, you might count to see how long that inhale breath takes. And then just begin by allowing the exhale to match the length of the inhale. For some of us, counting is an irritating distraction. For some of us, it's helpful. Just see if you can intuit the pace of the inhale and let the exhale match that pace. And then just slowly allow it to grow. Inhaling and exhaling. Slowly expanding the exhale breath. Allowing that exhale breath to become longer and longer. breathing through the nose if possible. When we breathe through the nose, it helps our nervous system regulate, going into that parasympathetic space. Feeling your breath draw you in. This is where we embrace the ether element. If it's available to you, give yourself permission to drop into the silence. Just be with the sensation of peacefulness that's available. Gently allowing your mind to rest. You might choose to rest on a rhythm, such as a mantra. A phrase that you repeat. I am here. I feel. I breathe. Or you might focus on the silence itself. Or your eyes might choose to rest on something truly beautiful. Just take it in. But use this time to drop into wisdom. Sit in this space for as long as you feel comfortable and you have time. And then grab a paper, pen, journal, and take some time to write about the wisdom that's bubbling up for you in this precious space. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this somatic yoga therapy experience, and I look forward to connecting with you in all of the beautiful ways that are available to us in the future. Be well.